guys, it's Faye from Solar Flow and I am back with another video. Today's topic is a deep dive behind the veil view of why is dark content being created and shared on TV. So if this sounds like an interesting topic to you, please stick around, and if not, I will catch you at another video. So where the idea for this topic came from was I was driving around, and I live in Los Angeles. There are billboards everywhere, and I was driving around and becoming slowly aware of all of the billboards that are promoting the new season of American Horror Story. So American Horror Story is a show that is produced or created, or I don't even know, maybe written by somebody by the name of Ryan Murphy. American Horror Story is not unique at this time. Like I said, there's actually been many seasons of it. But what was so interesting is, first of all, the timing of it, that this is running concurrently, or I think it's maybe just coming out, but we have a show that's recently been released, which is a retelling of a real life American serial killer by the name of Dahmer. I think his name may have been Richard Dahmer. I don't know. Anyway, Dahmer. Okay. So, and also just the billboards are everywhere. They're by all of the bus stops now. They're all of the billboards. It's like you literally cannot drive anywhere in LA without seeing these advertisements for the new season of American Horror Story. And while I know that the topic is a dark topic, the billboards this year seem to be particularly, I would say, over the top in the pushing forth of the darkness behind it. And that was very interesting as well. So that caused me to look into it and to find out, first of all, what is the behind the veil reason for the content creation of sharing of these kind of dark TV shows? What is the purpose behind the veil of it? Is there a positive reason for it as well? And specifically, I was asking about Dahmer, if the sharing and retelling of the story is to create copycats. So let's dive in. This is unfortunately new for me, where I have been, this is not the unfortunate part, but I've been channeling so much information lately that I have to keep notes. And in the past, I've very much been able to talk just off the cuff, but as so much more information is coming in when I'm channeling right now, I really want to make sure that I am not missing anything. So please forgive me as I do look down on occasion to make sure that I am sharing all of the relevant information that I was able to bring forth. Okay, so I was in my notes asking why the sudden influx of the content creation and sharing of dark matter for TV. And I received that it serves multiple purposes. Number one, it is introducing more darkness to the masses. This is happening especially right now as more and more of us are waking up and more of us are ascending energetically. So the sharing of the content at this time specifically is to offset or try to upset the balance. Nothing can stop what is going to happen. I have seen that very, very clearly. Again, I've said this same phrase in other videos as well. Ready or not, just like if you're playing hide and seek, ready or not, here I come. Ready or not, humanity is going to ascend. It cannot be stopped. Let's just start right there. Nothing can stop what is coming. It is more than just a tagline. But in addition to nothing can stop what is coming, is also the recognition by the darker entities on the astral realm that this is going to upset and offset their energetic hold that they have on the world. So their way of trying to slow down the progression of the ascension is with the sharing of this darker content on TV. You can also look at it like this. Ryan Murphy is the producer of the show American Horror Story, and he is very, very prolific. He has created a lot of great content for TV. not all of it is dark. He created a show back in, I think, 2006 by the name of Glee. Many of you may or may not be aware of that show. Very, very sweet, irreverent, positive show. He's also created very, very interesting content that is retelling of the story of, for example, Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton, the killing of Gianni Versace, O.J. Simpson, and he's also done, I know I said don't take, movie recommendations from me, but he did create a very enjoyable, very clever show about kids in high school that are running to be like class president. And then once they graduate and they go on into the real world, how one of them is like, I think, running for Senate or Congress in New York. It's a very witty, very, very well written show. So he is a prolific storyteller and producer. And for anyone that is a fan of his content, just the fact alone that his name is attached to something like American Horror Story is probably enough to pique curiosity and interest on their part. Maybe if they saw a poster or two, maybe they were like, okay, I don't know about this, but I'm going to try it, right? They may get drawn in, even if it's of the darker kind of content, because they like his content and they support him and they would give anything that he creates a shot, right? I know a lot of people that anything that Quentin Tarantino directs, they will go and see. Doesn't matter what it's about. They're Quentin Tarantino fans, they're going. It can very much be the same way for people that are into producers of TV content as well. So it doesn't matter what it's about, it's Ryan Murphy, they're a fan, they're gonna put it on. Now that they're exposed to it, they may or may not, right? Because everybody has free will. But they may or may not decide they're gonna stick with it. Now, the component of free will is another thing in this that makes it so very interesting as well, because we all have free will. And as we are beginning to ascend, people can decide, do they want to be on team high vibe or do they want to be on team dark side? Nothing can offset the free will that people have. It's also not going to upset the balance of the ascension of humanity. That's a video for another day. I probably will do one. If you're really, really interested in hearing about that, like the ascension and new earth, and what does happen energetically to the people that have decided that they want to be of Team Dark, go ahead, comment down below. Let me know that that's something of interest to you. But the sharing cannot bypass man's free will. So it is put out there to change energetically the balance as we are beginning to ascend more and more. And again, try to slow it down. Cannot be stopped in its entirety, but try to slow it down. It is also allowing people free will, right? Do they want to watch this? Do they not want to watch it? Do they even want to let it into their sphere? You can choose not to watch it, but it is so, especially in LA, plastered everywhere. You cannot not see it. But even with seeing it, we still have the choice. Do I want to let it in? I've seen it, but do I want to let it in? And I do not. But again, free will. Everybody can decide for themselves. Now, the creation of such a show such as this and the dark content behind it is the creation of Loosh. We have spoken about Loosh before. There's a couple of videos you may want to go back and watch. Las Vegas, I spoke about Loosh, and New York, I spoke about Loosh. But Loosh is basically the fuel that the entities on the astral realm live on. It is our emotions, it is our reactions, it is our responses to the world that is around us. So any sort of event that is something like a mass shooting is a massive creation of Loosh that goes directly to the entities on the astral realm. Now, again, as humanity is ascending, the content creation of Loosh for these entities is lowering significantly as our vibration is rising significantly. So they are still trying to get their Loosh in any way that they can. The sharing of such a show like American Horror Story is Loosh creation. So is the telling of that's his name, Jeffrey Dahmer. It's not Richard Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer, okay? So is the sharing of the content of the telling of the Jeffrey Dahmer tale, which is true and is real. But it's so peculiar, like it's icky. Why are we even talking about it? Loosh. Okay. Now, what else do we have? They are trying to normalize sick and disturbing images and content. So again, nothing can stop what's coming, but can we offset the balance a little bit more with the introduction of this dark content, even with the introduction of the posters and the billboards? Again, we have the choice. Are we going to watch it? Are we going to allow the energy of the billboards in? Some people will, some people will not. But all of it is the introducing more and more of it into humanity's consciousness at this time. Now, I specifically asked if the sharing of the Jeffrey Dahmer tale is to create copycats, and I very clearly received the answer is no. This is not done to inspire in any way, shape, or form copycats that are going to see what he did and somehow be triggered or respond emotionally to it and be like, I'm gonna go do that. It is not for that. But it is to normalize the telling and retelling of dark matter and information into the world. Now, there is some positive reasons for this as well. Number one, on a positive side, it is educating and informing younger and new generation, as well as reminding the older generation that the world is not necessarily getting worse. Because as the world can feel very much like it is not on its axis any longer, right? Like it kind of feels like, for some people, the world can feel like it doesn't make sense anymore. Like, I don't know what's going, the world's just, it's just weird, right? So it's to say that while energetically the world feels a bit off its, I'm hearing two things, off the rails, I guess, like it could feel like a runaway train, but like also off its meds. So while it is feeling like this is a bit of a runaway train situation, the big days of serial killers, right? It's not just Jeffrey Dahmer. You also have Richard Ramirez. I don't even know if I want to talk about these people. Well, if the information is coming in to share, I'm going to share it. It's up to you if you want to, if you know about these people and you want to, or you don't and you want to look into them. But so you no longer have the big days of the prolific serial killers. There's no longer the Jeffrey Dahmers. There's no longer the Richard Ramirez's. There's no longer the Ted Bundys. There was another one, the guy who dressed up as a, it makes me think of It, you know, the book and the movie by Stephen King, It. But there was a serial killer who dressed up like a clown. So creepy. But anyway, it's to remind the older generation that while the world feels like it's off the rails right now, the days of the truly dark forces and dark entities are behind us. So all that can be done right now is a sharing and a telling of the tales of what was done back then. It's by no means going to create the same level of Loosh as when it was going on in real time. So for example, sorry again to talk about this, but Richard Ramirez was, he was called the Night Stalker, and he did not have any particular MO, and he terrorized the city of Los Angeles because there was no ammo. He would like literally just walk around houses, and wherever there was like an open window or an open door, he would go inside and kill people. It's not like he had a type, right? Like Ted Bundy had a type. Who did he want to profile? Who did he want to follow? Who did he want to kill? Richard Ramirez had no type. He was purely like an opportunist of wherever he could get into someone's home, he would go in. That terrorized Los Angeles in the 80s because nobody felt safe, right? Let's say, I'm not his type, I'm okay. No, he didn't have a type. So that creates a very, very potent kind of loosh. This level of darkness is no longer available in the world, right? There's still the energetic blueprint of their actions. There is still loosh that is created from the family members of his victims, just like with Jeffrey Dahmer, just like with all of them. But the level of loosh is so much weaker now because the real days of the darkness are behind us. So all that these beings on the astral plane can do is create this watered down version of it to create and try to draw out a little bit of loosh. But it is really to remind us, the older generation, that while the world is kind of crazy right now, the real darkness, the real days of darkness are behind us. And so this is also very, very interesting. The last point that I was actually able to channel on this, that it is a wake up to the younger generation that is just learning about things like this, right? So the notable timing of the fact that Jeffrey Dahmer tale is being shared right before the new season of American Horror Story is going to come out, which is to introduce to people, and I know many, many people that are aware of Jeffrey Dahmer for the first time, but didn't even know that he was a real person, didn't even know that this stuff had ever happened. So it is introducing to them this level of darkness, but the intention behind it is actually very positive. Because again, first of all, we have free will, but second of all, it's when people are becoming aware of the fact that the world can really be a dark place. Do you want to unnecessarily expose yourself to fabricated stories such as American Horror Story? So now that some people are aware, there was somebody by the name of Jeffrey Dahmer. He really did live. He really did exist. He really did do these things that was depicted in a TV show. So now that people know about that, now that their consciousness and their awareness has somewhat been exposed to the darkness that can exist behind the veil in the world, in the 3D, and they're kind of seeing how that lands with their body, do they necessarily want to expose themselves to a fabrication of darkness? That is truly, truly positive. It is creating more free will. So while it can seem like it is dark, and it is of the dark, because it is offsetting the balance of this lightness and the ascension that we are all experiencing as well, it is also introducing and giving us all the opportunity to decide in real time to exercise our free will. Now that I know that real darkness exists, do I want to expose myself to any level of made up darkness? And that is a very beautiful thing. So as always, guys, I hope that you have found this video to be interesting. If you have, please go ahead and tap the like button. If you are new, I would be delighted if you could subscribe and share. And, as always, I say, take what resonates and leave the rest behind. And until next time, stay in your high vibration.